So welcome to the Node.js Community Technical Steering Committee meeting for January 23rd, 2019. We'll be following along with the agenda that we have posted in the issue. So to start with, the first thing is, does anybody have any announcements that they'd wish to share? Okay, if no announcements, we'll go to the issues tagged with the TSC agenda. The first one is REPO emit uncaught exception 2803. I see in the discussion that the tag has been removed from the agenda. I think technically we have to talk about it anyway as per our governance. But as long as we all agree that there was no specific question, I think it was just really a call for more TSC members to review, because it's Semver major and needs help to needs approvals to be able to land. So unless anybody else has some specifics they want to dive in on that one, I think we can move on to the next issue. Does that sound good to everybody?
Works for me.
Okay. So just taking a note there. Okay, so moving on to the next one. The next issue that it was tagged is node module version for Electron major releases, number 651. And I think in this case, we just need to, we need to decide, or at least maybe not decide, since we don't have enough people necessarily, but try and get us on a path to where we know what the short-term and long-term approach is going to be to unblock the particular issue that's right there. Gabriel, I know you've put some significant thought into this. Do you want to give us an overview?
Yeah, so basically my understanding is that there are times when the module version announced by the add-on matches the module version expected by Node.js, and yet there are ABI mismatches, because in addition to V8, the module uses other Node.js APIs, which are ABI mismatched, depending on whether the Node.js version is one that is shipped by us through our official channels, or whether it's built by others from source. And so we need to distinguish between those, and we can do that by giving everybody a unique node module version. However, I believe that does not address the situation where the ABI does match. However, the node module version does not, because the difference in module versions was caused not by V8, not by a node major release, but rather by like OpenSSL. So if we start changing the node module version because of OpenSSL and because of other, like libuv, for example, then people who don't use any of those will have to now ship multiple binaries for multiple version numbers, even though a single binary would work. So the I don't care about other ABIs scenario, I don't believe can be addressed using a single number. That is my understanding.
Right. So I guess it seems to me that that's a good discussion to have, but that might take longer. And I guess the question in my mind is, like, do we want to enable, in the meantime, while we figure that out, projects to just grab a version number, or do we think we need to figure out the best solution before we do that? Because it's kind of like I think their Electron, the issue is open because they're in a state where they're broken, and it's kind of like, how do we unblock them and then do the right thing longer term, in my mind?
Well, having increasing the node module version or lowering the bar for increasing the node module version is not a bad idea in any case. It's just it'll create a it might increase the maintenance burden for those module owners which don't care about the reasons why it was incremented. That's all. But in the meantime, you know, avoiding mysterious crashes and stuff because of ABI breaks is definitely a worthy goal, which can be achieved by more liberally increasing the node module version. So that's a good solution.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't know. We need more discussion, like you said.
Right. So does anybody on the call have any other thoughts or concerns, like concerns about allowing people to grab a number? I'm just taking a few next. It's easier. So if I don't hear any objections, so I think if we go back to 651, what we want to do is figure out, you know, what unblocks that if it is blocked. So let's just take a quick look. So I think the suggestion and in the issue, there was Rod had commented, so I'm just going to pull up. I think he was just issues. Okay, so we actually already state that if they want to open to reserve an issue, they need to open issue here. That's been done in the past. He doesn't think there's any blockers. It's just saying we should be able to give them a number, but we need to keep track of the reservations. Obviously, the proposal is in 24114. So I guess, I don't know, Gabriel, would you be willing to volunteer to figure out how to give them a number based on our existing process?
Okay. Well, my understanding is that they would submit a pull request for that, right? And
is it a pull request, or because it says basically open an issue in 651, and what would their pull request be?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that. Well, you know, our node module version would have to skip that number when we do
Right.
increase. That's basically it. So I guess.
Right, it might be a PR to master to skip that number.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Or like a PR which just increments the node module version and doesn't do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one that is obviously semver major, and then that would be it, right? Because then on master the node module version would increase, but that new number would not appear in any
actual
release. Yeah, exactly. It would just be on master. And so master would accumulate these PRs until the next major release, and then we would increment, and then our node module version would be greater than any of those.
Right. Okay.
That's my first.
Okay.
Guess, but I'd have to see how it was done in the past, because it was done in the past. Oh, compare symbol tables, says Jeremiah. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Because in order to I mean, okay, yes, I'm sure it can be done, but it would be super duper platform specific how to retrieve symbols. I mean, the only thing that is relatively platform agnostic is if you know the symbol name, then you can check whether you can retrieve the symbol. And if you get null, then you have the symbol. If you get null, you don't. That's about it. And so you know, I mean, to do that, we would have to have a list of all the symbols that we're interested in. So yeah, I don't think that's feasible.
Okay,
but
so
yeah,
I took.
mean, basically, ideally, we would want to have a way to check the entire ABI signature before loading the module. And yeah, there's no good way. I do have a PR for like a proof of concept where the module declares an ABI signature, but that needs buy-in from the module. So we cannot statically analyze the module at load time, as far as I know.
Okay, so the minutes I've taken are that, sorry, I'm just having a little trouble here. What happened to me? Okay, I said, go ahead. Just trying to fix them. Okay, I've said discussion in the meeting is that we just need a PR to bump the ABI number in master, but Gabriel volunteered, in quotes, to confirm process and comment in 651 on specifically what to do. And then I said, Gabriel will also create a new issue to continue the discussion around whether we want to assign bits, etc.
Okay.
Because I think we want to, like, we want to say, we want to unblock 651, allow that to close, and then separately we could have the discussion, to continue discussion at a more leisurely rate in terms of, well, is there something better that we should be doing, right?
Okay. I mean, Gabriel does have a PR of some sort open.
Yeah. Let me give that number quickly.
Okay.
Proof of concept, this is the one.
25539.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I just think like in maybe an issue in the TSC repo, and or I don't know, maybe we can have the discussion in that one, but we just need an issue to. Well.
Yeah, because we have several, like we have a rods, a registry, proof of concept PR.
Right.
And then I think Ali was commenting in there regarding the bits solution. So we do have sort of conversations spread out over several issues on this.
Maybe what makes sense is like to open a new issue in the TSC repo which references those other ones.
Yeah, okay.
And we can have like the macro discussion there, the meta discussion there, and once we're comfortable that we've, things have landed or whatever, we can close it out. But otherwise, it'll be a reminder that we need to make some decisions, either like leave it the way it is, or maybe it's better documentation. I don't know what.
I mean, we can probably already use the existing issue for that, but I don't think everything's linked to it. I don't see Rod's PR in there.
Well, I think 651 was a specific request for to solve a problem, right? If I'm remembering correctly. So I'm almost thinking like we should take the meta discussion out of that issue. So we can come to a resolution, which is basically like, okay, here's, do this to get your node major version. Okay, that issue's closed. Now, we're going to continue the discussion over here, the meta discussion.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so any more discussion on that before we move on to the next issues?
Good.
Okay, no. So the next issue is tracking issue for updating TSC on the board meetings. I think I remember an email that there was going to be a board meeting from Miles asking for any content, but he's not here, so we don't have an update today. Then moving on to strategic initiatives, let's just take a very quick look at those, and we can go through the ones at least for which we have people here. And the thing that I will mention, because it's not on the list yet, but Nikita opened a PR to add in a strategic initiative around Python 3. You just find the issue number. So it's basically doc introduce Python and Chip initiative. So this is the issue here. I think that's important, and so that'll be kicking off. Thank you for starting that, Nikita. Flipping back to the,
I think it was Gabriel.
Sorry. No, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Basically, Python, we depend on Python 2 for our build, and Python 2 is not going to be supported anymore by 2020. So we have 1 year to migrate to Python 3. That is our initial goal. Rafael and Christian class, they both have been working on this for the past few months, and we're in good shape. Rafael's Zip, they've been working in Rafael's Zip repo. So as first step, we are migrating all the. We've been actually making the Python scripts in Node repository compatible with Python 3. So yeah, that's where we have started.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. It was Zach3 Priyan who was just giving us an update who opened that issue. So, but yeah, no, thanks for kicking that off. And I think it'd be good to have updates because that's definitely important to make sure that we're making good progress.
Yeah.
In terms of the other initiatives, NAPI, I think the key thing we're working on is to get the TFSN functionality non-experimental. Gabriel, you already landed, I think that yes, that already landed in master. I see you have a PR to get it back to 10. And we need to flow that back in time for a planned 8.x December minor release. I guess the other related thing I would say is there's some text that I've PR'd into the release README sort of around our processes, which is kind of an allowance for bringing things into releases that are in maintenance for NAPI, acknowledging that we need to keep things consistent. And, so we may have there may be things that we want to backport to maintenance releases, even though, we might not otherwise, because it's important to make sure you can run those modules across all the LTS releases. Gabriel, do you have anything else to add on the NAPI side?
Nope, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. And I'm just going through to see if we have anybody else here in terms of the initiatives. I think that's it for this time. It's Jeremiah, new stream APIs, actually.
Yeah, this is pretty much stalled waiting on other streams people.
Okay, when you say other streams things?
Other streams people, like people who know more about current streams, so that I can actually, so that an actual integration between the two can be built, because
okay.
I don't really have that. Can you promote Rich, please?
Yep, sure. Okay, NAPI I'll add in afterwards. Start NAPI, I'm just typing in sort of a reminder to myself, and Chip, Python 3. Okay, I think that's well, let me take a look if Rich, who just joined, has any. No. Okay, so I think that's it for the strategic initiatives. Any other comments or discussion on that front before we move on? If not, we're at the Q&A section. So let's flip over and see if we have anybody on the YouTube channel with a question. So if you have a question, please post it now. We'll wait a minute or two there. I'm just trying to flip back to see if I can find that tab that has, I guess, anybody else on the YouTube channel? Otherwise, I'm gonna migrate there back there. Okay, so I'm looking at the chat. I don't see any questions today, so I think we can move on from that. No questions today. So I think we're at, unless anybody else has any end of the business, we're at the end of the meeting. I do ask for everybody to stick around after we stop the stream. Okay, I'm stopping the stream now.